Flying Championships. 2 jumps over the weekend on the very big hill where the men who love to fly launch themselves down the in-run at 108 kilometers and take off to distances of hopefully 180 meters or more. Spectators are not disappointed. We have 35 competitors on the starting list and 3 jumps, the best 2 to count, and this Andy Goldberger's first attempt in the first round. Good speed, the V-style just broadening the skis and sailing out to a lovely distance there, over 170 meters. He did 171 in training, and Andy Goldberger delighted with his opening. Remember, it's distance and style. 5 judges, highest and lowest thrown away, and those computed with the distance. Arms by the side, an 18, that's a very good mark. The 17's more accurate. And look for the landing. Does he get the telemark? One knee in front of the other. We'll see happily in a second. But a good opening jump. Now Norioka Kosai for Japan. Really looking for the distance there, and that's a great jump. That's longer than Goldberger. And the 19-year-old Japanese, who's 10th in the World Cup rankings, launches himself over 180 meters. The hill record's 183, so he's getting very close. The critical point today, 180 meters, and he's over that by 2. The longest jump we've seen here. Again, just broadening the skis, but not wide enough, keeping the body well balanced there so the wind doesn't come between the skis and the body. Look for the landing, 2-footed, but of course he's going for the distance, and that just nips in front of Andy Goldberger. The Japanese, who've been in good form since the Olympic Games, and now this is Germany and Thomas Dufner. Dufner, I should say. 107.5, that's fair speed, a little movement there, and Dufner's got a good opener. Not as long as Kasai and not as long as Goldberger. And Dufner, 180 meters in training, he's short of that. 170 meters exactly for Christoph Dufner, and that is good enough for 3rd place. The distance is being computed all the time. And so the order after the first round, Kasai from Japan leads ahead of Goldberger, then Dufner ahead of Truns, and those are the best men after the first round. But they, like everybody else, scheduled to have 2 more jumps, and therefore, if they can improve, they can discard those. So that's the situation after the first jump. And now here we are live for the second jump. 150 meters, Yaroslav Sakala, the first effort that he had. Now, can he improve on that in terms of distance and style? Saw the tips come up really hard there. There's a bit of bad wind towards the end of the in-run. He managed that quite well, although he came out to the right. And Sakala, that's not a bad second jump, and remember, he's going to have to get up amongst the 180s, and he hasn't done that. Yes, 152 meters, so just a little bit better than he did the first time. But the style, you see the split on the scissors there, and losing 1.5 marks probably from each of the judges. So Igor Strigar for Slovenia, yet to break 150 meters. This the 12th edition of the Ski Flying World Championships, the first in 1972 at Planica in Yugoslavia as it was then, Slovenia as it is now, and Harakov hosting the Ski Flying World Championships for the second time. That's a little bit better controlled. He got 144 the first time. Hadakov, who hosted the World Championships here in 1983. And the style mark's pretty tough there. Yes, 109 meters for Skuga of Slovenia. So that really doesn't improve his opportunities, and he'll throw this jump away, and hopefully he'll have the third one, which he can count together with the first. I think it's 109 meters, looked about that mark. And whilst we wait for that, let me tell you that we have 11 countries competing here. That's a little disappointing, to say the least. There are no Finns jumping, no Toni Nieminen, and no Martin Holvart from Austria. Both of those young men, 16-year-old Nieminen, 17-year-old Holvart, well, they're in Finland for the Junior World Championships this year. And this weekend, I should say, taking place at the same time. Of course, the governing body, the FIS, didn't foresee, when those championships were awarded a couple of years ago, the explosion of youth that has taken over ski jumping this season. Well, here's Jan Boklov, bags of experience, 25 years of age, the World Cup champion of 1989. He was third on this hill in 1989, not in the ski flying World Championships, but in the World Cup competitions. And Boklov, in just the last few jumps, coming back to his form. At Trondheim, in the second of the two jumps, just over a week ago, he was 12th, and that's his best of the season so far. The arms out by the side. That's not a great long jump. He only had 125 meters the first time. And this weekend's competition here counts for an awful lot of points here. Today and tomorrow, the points for each jumper are added together to determine who will be the ski flying champion of the world, as Boklov gets 118 meters for distance, less than the first round. But also these points computed in World Cup terms with the Ski Flying World Cup rounds at Oberstdorf, which happened just before the Olympic Games. Now Harada of Japan, who had a poor first jump. This is better. This is a little better, but not much better. He had 97 meters. He's well over the 100-meter mark this time, but it's not threatening the best, including the 182 meters that his teammate Kasai did in the first round. Kasai still to jump. Goldberger also. 127 for Harada, so he can throw away the first round. Little bit of concern here, though, that with the wind and the weather fluctuating so much, as to whether we'll get the third jump in. I hope we will. Now Ivan Vulliamou for Switzerland. Quite a lot of movement there. He really didn't get the position, didn't get the timing off the end of the in-run correct, didn't overcome that little patch of awkward air at the end of the in-run. So 13 meters shorter than he did in the first round. Just to continue the explanation about points. Today's and tomorrow's competition for the World Championship, but also awarded World Cup points to go with the 2 rounds at Oberstdorf for the Ski Flying World Cup. 4 competitions make up that competition this year, and of course those World Cup points also count for the overall Blaupunkt season-long competition. Bredesen now, Norway. Good control towards the end of the flight. 24 years of age, Espen from Oslo. Norwegians, of course, a disappointing season. They haven't won a World Cup or any major competition in ski jumping or ski flying since 1989. And 147 meters for Bredesen. So here is Andy Goldberger, selected for the Austrian team for the Olympic Games, but not, I'm afraid, selected. But this would be compensation if he could get the World Ski Flying title. He's certainly given himself with a major chance after the first jump. Good position, That's a great jump. That is another jump. He's got so much confidence. Just 20. Studied at the Stamm Ski School. 1.57 m, but he really converts the power into flight. At 179 meters, he's just 1 meter short of the critical point of the hill, and that gives him the lead at the moment. Quite a bit of movement there, as you saw in the flight, but of course they're going for long distances. If you think of perhaps the rugby ground at Twickenham, well, he's jumping from behind one set of posts to over the other set of posts. So Jež now for the home crowd. He sticking with the classic style, and not a bad jump. The first round effort, 153 meters, which found him in 8th place. Oh, and it's wrong. Look at that. And I hope he's going to be all right. He's just having the bumpy slide down. Timing not right off the end of the in-run. The tips came up too hard. And you can see the jumping suit's got a nasty rip in it where the tip of the ski may have just dug in there. Now, I hope he's okay. Immediately, there's the bad patch of air. Comes down really hard, and I promise you, even though the snow is quite warm, it's +6 Celsius, that's a real hard landing. So we'll have a little pause while the Czechoslovakian medics and team coaches get across to František and look after him. 21 years of age. Problem again. Look at the tips come up really hard there. That happens if you leave it late. But then there's a bad patch of air. He doesn't get the form to ride over that and then continue the flight. And the applause in the background, and you can see he's being helped off. He's going to need a little bit of attention. He's got probably a nasty whack in one of the more painful places. And it really is a nasty whack, and hopefully the ski tip hasn't cut into him there. But good to see him walking off the hill. He'll get the best of attention in just a few moments from now. This is a nice shot from behind. You can see there the air cushion is completely lost. He goes out towards the right of the hill. So yes, disappointing there, but good to see at least he's standing up. Yes, gingerly is the right word now. These chaps are tough. Well, he hasn't done his skis any good, but that's the least of his worries at this particular moment. So Goldberger has the lead. Coming soon will be Noriaka Kasai. Goldberger, remember, jumped number 8, and Jež was number 9. Kasai drawn 10. And the jumpers for this ski flying competition, they stay in the same order. For this round and the third round of ski jumping, we don't reverse the order, they just rotate in the same pattern. Running a little bit later than scheduled here at Harakov. It's quite a nice natural hill, 120 kilometers away from Prague. It'll take you about an hour and a half to drive here up towards the Polish border, not too far from Zakopane, the resort in western Poland. In fact, if you feel like a little jog, you can jog from Czechoslovakia into Poland. That's how close it is. We're going to take a little bit of a break because, of course, when you get an interruption like this, the jury will ask a forerunner to go down. Goldberger leads at the moment. We'll be back to see the next runner in just... Welcome back, Noriaka Kasai on the top of the gate. This, the man who had the longest distance from the first run, 182 meters. This to take the lead back from Andy Goldberger. Good speed, good height, good distance, and telemark. And Kasai are really in good form, and what a battle we've got here. He didn't figure in the World Cup ski flying jumps at Oberstdorf. He was preparing for the Olympic Games. Look at these style marks. 19 out of 20, 2 19s, 3 19s, and what a big build he's got there. What a great distance. Terrific body position there. Watch for the landing, look at the knee, and that's the leader. So Noriaki Kasai takes the lead with the longest jump and the best style. Ivo Patilli for Italy. Now, by comparison, very short. Patilli had 138 meters in the first round of jumping. So 124 meters. Noriaki Kasai, 182 meters, just to confirm his distance, the same as he did on the first round. So Kasai leads from Goldberger. Patilli, 124 meters, hasn't advanced his cause. And here is Goran Janusz for Slovenia. 21, coming up to his 22nd birthday, and of course the World Cup skiing comes to a close next weekend in Planica, the big natural hill there. Not the ski flying hill this time, the 120-meter hill. And the crowd very quiet. As soon as anybody goes anywhere near a long distance, the cheers start to rise. And they've been a pretty patient crowd. The competition started at 10 o'clock this morning, or in fact, it didn't start at 10 o'clock. The wind, the rain caused a delay of nearly an hour to the first round. And now we're in a catch-up situation. So now Roberto Ceccon, a very, very good opening jump, a useful one, 162 meters. Ceccon, 20 years of age, just finding form towards the latter part of the season. Didn't really do anything special in the Olympic Games. And change style for Ceccon, and that's a good jump again. What a good effort. Well over the 150-meter mark, well over indeed. Punches the air, and Ceccon is coming back to the sort of form that gave him a couple of World Cup victories in 1990. Gets over the bad air, gets the position, 177. That's a big improvement over his first round effort. It's going to really move him up the order. It's a 15-meter improvement. The style is pretty decent as well. Not too much wrong with that. Arms nice and steady. The skis, good height and level. Ceccon for Italy, moving up. Gebstedt, 122, needs to get rid of this jump. So, needs a long one now. Gebstedt competed in the Ski Flying World Championships of 1990 at Vikersund in Norway, finished in 24th place there. And that's a reasonable jump. Remember, he's jumping classic style, the skis parallel. But now all of the ski jumpers finding that they've got to really convert to the V-style to get the long distances off the low in-run speeds. 143 meters, so it is an improvement, but look, 25% of his style marks gone. So Werner Rathmar now, the man who won both ski flying World Cup competitions in Oberstdorf just before the Olympic Games, but he had a poor opener here, only 131 meters. So needs a better jump now. A little more control, a little better in distance, but he's not challenging Andy Goldberger, and he's not challenging Norioka Kasai. And look at the style as well, quite a bit of movement during the flight, and 141 meters, it's a 10-meter lift, but it's not as good as his efforts so far in Oberstdorf. Well, Thomas Goda for Czechoslovakia. Goda in good shape. He was in 5th place in the Ski Flying World Cup rankings. And his opener here, very respectable, 163 meters. Little bit of movement, not quite as long as he was looking for. This is the round in which you need to get 170 if you can, and he's short of that, 142. So only a meter longer than Werner Rathmar, who just preceded him. Got a bronze with the Czechoslovakian team in the Olympic Games in that team event. And now Ole Gunnar Fischerstøl for Norway. Fischerstøl, world champion in this discipline in 1988. He won that title not here, but in Oberstdorf on German snow. He was 5th in the 1990 Ski Flying World Championships. This has been his season-long objective. He's had 3 World Cup victories here on the hill at Harakov in 85 and 89. Victorious here. Building the speed up to over 105, 106 kilometers. But this is not the sort of jump that he needs. He got quite a lot of vertical height, but it didn't really convert that into forward flight. 145, and he hasn't improved on that. 140 meters. And 15s and 16s for style. 16s might be tough to get. Wasn't a great jump in terms of style. And it doesn't move him up the order. Staffan Tallberg, Sweden. Tallberg with 139 in his first effort. One ski flying victory in the World Cup to his credit. That was in Planica, Slovenia, last year. Competed in Oberstdorf earlier this year in the 2 ski flying competitions just before the Olympics. He was 22nd, 23rd on those occasions. And short again. And now it's very clear with Kasai 2 182-meter jumps and Goldberger with 175 and 179. You've got to be up there if you want to challenge. So looking a little serious, shaking his head in disappointment there. This man could change a few eyes here. Slovenia, 19 years of age, from Ljubljana. Samo Gotista from the younger junior Slovenian squad, but graduating very quickly to senior company this year. Good position. That's a very fair jump. A little better than the first round, 142, hands together, the prayer worked. 12th and 22nd in the Olympic Games on the 90 and 120 meter hill, 162 meters, 20 meters up on the first round effort. Good progress by the young man. 6th and 9th at Oberstdorf in the ski flying competitions there. Currently, he's in 7th place in the ski flying World Cup rankings for the season. Now Martin Truns, Switzerland. Over 160 first time. Needs to find another 10 meters. And he's not going to do it. Didn't really show up to much in the Olympic Games, but then one of the younger members of the Swiss squad, but all of them really are youngsters. Unanimity almost there amongst the judges. 143 meters, that's a disappointing effort. He'll hope that the third jump does take place and that he can throw away. So Tad Langlois, John to give him his real Christian name. The wind just dying a little bit at the moment. Yes, he was working all the way through that flight to try and control it. He didn't get the timing right as he left the in-run. Remember, just a couple of hundredths of a second in which to extend the legs out into the first 20 meters of flight and carry the power forward. Gone 6th at the moment, but 125, that's a meter down on what he did the first time. So Chupin. Chupin, who produced a jump of 128 meters. No, not right either. And the man from Cranch, a disappointing second round effort. And all the delays because of the weather have really not done too many of these jumpers favors, particularly Andy Felder, who's still to jump. He produced the longest jump in training, 181 meters, and he really got bad wind conditions when he jumped in the first round. Christoph Dufner now, Germany. Third after the first round of jumping, behind Noriaki Kasai. At that particular point, there were 16 points separating the two, but as we've seen, Kasai has put in a good second jump. Oh, and it's gone wrong. Very, very short. Struggling to make the 100-meter line. The man from Schönwald, look at that. More than 50% of the star mark's gone. He just had to survive, and he's 2 meters short of the 100-meter line, 98 meters. What a disappointing second jump. Now Mikael Martinsson. Martinsson in the Ski Flying World Cup rankings, he's 3rd. In the overall World Cup, he's 7th. And Martinsson, more than capable of putting in a good result. At Oberstdorf, in the 2 World Cup ski flying competitions, he was 3rd and 5th. In the Olympic Games, some way off the medals, 17th on the 90-meter, 16th off the 120-meter hill. Remember today, though, we're on the big ski flying hill. The hill record, 183 meters. We're just a meter short of that with Kasai. And that hill record set by Ole Gunnar Fischerstøl of Norway. The best ever jump in ski flying, 194 meters by Piotr Fijas, and that was in Slovenia on the hill at Planica. That same hill almost saw that record broken last year when Andre Kiesewetter of Germany landed 106 to 196 meters, but he sat down as he landed and the jump was not counted. Great pity that, but that shows you the sort of distance. These men who love to fly, and this is the real opportunity for them to reach out for huge long distances. So Martinsen, 161, he's just waiting for his coach to say it's time to jump, and the conditions are not right. So puts the skis sideways, takes the pressure off, moves back. And again, to give you an idea of the distances they're jumping, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, 330 meters, something like that in height. And here are these men jumping 180 meters. Jump over that distance. So Martinsen gets his second round jump in. Always disturbing when you get a little delay. 161 meters, he hasn't reached that. Well short of that. 141, so 20 meters down. And the problem for him is that if everybody was dropping down, it wouldn't be so bad, but unfortunately Goldberger and Kasai are going further and further away. Well, Andy Felder, 119, rotten wind. Can he do better this time? Well, again, he got over the hump this time, which is where the bad wind is, but he couldn't really control it anymore. Felder, himself a World Cup, a World Ski Flying Champion. He won the title in 1986 on Austrian snow at Kulm. He's currently third in the season-long World Cup rankings, but that really hasn't advanced his cause at all. Jim Holland, United States, a pretty fair season for him, much more consistent than ever before, certainly at the beginning of the season. If anything, he's just lost touch a little bit since the Olympic Games. In the Olympic Games, 13th on the 90-meter hill, 12th on the big hill, 12th with the American team. Those were fair results. So Kasai from Goldberger and Chacon, then Martin Schrunz of Switzerland ahead of Goda. Those are the top five at the moment. Jim Holland now getting ready, 24 years of age, from Norwich in Vermont. Didn't really figure at Oberstdorf in the ski flying World Cup competitions there. 100 meters, needs to do a lot more than that now. And no, well controlled. That wasn't about distance, that was purely survival. Big gasp from the crowd there. And this is not going to be Jim Holland's day. Remember, all of these men have a chance to jump again. Don't worry about the distance. Little bad patch of wind there. And you can see it's about 20-30 meters into the flight. And he does well to get himself down safely. Now Suda for Japan. Fourth with the Japanese team in the Olympic Games. Just over a week ago at Trondheim, in the second of the two competitions on the big hill there, finished 22nd. That's the first patch of form we've seen from him since the early part of the season in the World Cup. That's a little better, and that's not a bad effort considering 136. He's going to be around that mark, perhaps not quite as long.
134 meters.
Yes, 134 meters for Suda. Keeps him there or thereabouts. You see the computer putting him into 7th place at the moment. So Ivan Lunardi with teammate Chacon at the moment 3rd overall. Coming towards the end of this second round of ski flying. 35 on the start list today. And Lunardi, who jumped 155 in training, 152 for real in the opening round. Just 18 years of age from Gallio, yet to win any sort of competition. Well, it's respectable, but it's not getting up there amongst the 170, 180 meters. 137, so drops back a little bit. Had a good competition last weekend in Oslo on the Holmenkollen, finished 9th there, Lunardi, and there are better things to come from him. There could be very good things to come from this man. Jiri Palmer changed from classic to V-style. 29 years of age and really rejuvenated. 3rd here in 1985. And Jiri Palmer in the ski flying world championships of 83 and 88 finished in 6th place. Those are his 2 best results in this particular discipline. But in the World Cup, Jiri Palmer has now moved up to 14th place thanks to some very good form. And he was, of course, the runner-up last weekend on the big hill at Holmenkollen in Oslo. 152 first time, needs to go further now. Good speed, but just finding the conditions for him even harder. Temperature changing, moving into the afternoon, and the style marks pretty wicked there. The judges not doing him any favors at all, and 8th at the moment. Magne Johansson for Norway. We thought for one moment that the Norwegians, like the Finns, would avoid Harakov, but happily they haven't. Just below 150 meters, Magna. So if he can find 170 meters now, that would really push him up the order. Didn't have a great jump last weekend in Oslo on home snow, finished 30th. Nothing from Oberstdorf in the Ski Flying World Cup competitions there. Good speed. And respectable again. Just see the brighter conditions early this morning, rain, fog, wind, just everything that there could be thrown at the jumpers as well as those trying to run the competition. 135, and there's an awful lot of people in this second round who are around about that mark. Now, Stefan Sund, ski flying World Cup champion, not world champion, but World Cup champion of last season. 4 competitions make up the Ski Flying World Cup. This year, 2 were at Oberstdorf, 2 more this weekend. But for the World Championship, it's the addition of today and tomorrow's competition where we take not World Cup points, but the total jumping points of each competitor. Sund also around that 130-meter mark. Likes the long distances. Hasn't managed to win 130 meters exactly. And 12th at the moment. Sund 6th in the World Ski Flying rankings before today. 5th in the overall World Cup. So now the last man to jump in this second round. This is Andrzej Zagierski for the Commonwealth of Independent States. As you can see, 98 meters.
From the United Teams.
A little prayer, a little ritual, a little superstition. But what he needs now is all the technique and knowledge to come together at exactly the right time. Coach gives him a little wave that the wind's as good as it's going to be. And that's not a long or attractive jump. Never really got into position throughout the flight. And the judges' marks will speak for themselves. Even 10 seems a little generous. That's the high so far, 101 meters, so a touch longer. But he doesn't threaten the top 15. So at the end of this second round of jumping, it's Norioka Kasai of Japan who's in the lead from Andy Goldberger of Austria, with Roberto Chacon, by our calculations, who's moved into third place. Confirmation of that, Schruns, I think, is fourth for Switzerland, ahead of Thomas Goda. Dufner, by virtue of a 98-meter jump in this second round, has really lost touch with the leaders. A little bit of Czechoslovakian music in between the rounds here to keep the crowd warmed up and entertained. It's just got a little bit of damp and murky. Just waiting for the jury to be satisfied that the conditions are safe for everybody to get underway. That's the view that they have looking down there. The crowd are pretty decent, probably 5,000–6,000 people. It's difficult to judge with everybody scattered over such a wide area, but there's certainly a good atmosphere around the hill. Now that shows you the gradient on which they land. Of course, it's modern video equipment that gives us the instant judgment on distances, but there are also distance judges lined up the hill at the meter points. And there, the wind gauge, which has been at the center of activity throughout the day. So now, just a chance for us to see what's exactly happening with the wind at this moment. Pretty short. In fact, at the end of the day, it doesn't tell us very much at all. Stiffening up the breeze from left to right. Last crosswind. And it certainly hasn't done Andy Felder any favors, and that's a great pity because Andy Felder is the defending World Cup champion. 193 points in this season's championship, and he's in fact 61 points behind Tony Nieminen. But of course, with Nieminen not being here and 50 points in the World Cup on offer this weekend, a great chance for Andy to have closed up to put pressure on Nieminen when they meet next weekend at Planica. But with two rather poor efforts and no luck with the wind conditions when it was his turn to jump, then he certainly lost the chance of getting 25 points today. Felder, one of the Austrians who was a little unlucky individually as well in the Olympic Games. A silver medal with the Austrian team, the gold of course denied to them by Tony Nieminen, who produced a last jump on the big hill at Courchevel that at one single blow sent frowns across the brows of the Austrian army of Tony Inauer. So Czechoslovakian there for third round. The first to jump, Thomas Horngacher, or Stefan Horngacher I should say, of Austria. A man who was in excellent form a couple of seasons ago. A couple of wins on the big hill at Lahti and Oslo in 1991. So 135 meters in the first round. Looking to exceed that. At 120, that's his worst jump in terms of distance. That's the one he's going to throw away. He's got the lead at the moment, but he's not going to advance. To Sakala, two 150-meter efforts. Bronze medal with the Czechoslovakian team in the Olympic Games, yet to win a World Cup or World Ski Flying competition. 11th and 14th in Oberstdorf in the two World Cup ski flying events this season. It's going to be short again. That's short of 150 meters, so this again will be his worst jump. 136 meters. And at 12.5 for style, that's a bit tough. The weather forecast a lot better for tomorrow when we have the second ski flying world championship competition. And I think we're going to see longer, better jumps. Now Strigar for Slovenia. It's not a bad effort there. Now 144, the second round was 109. That's a lot better. This third round jump, 132. So the second round is thrown away. He'll move up a little bit, certainly for the moment. Well, I had the list down as 109. He's been credited with 139, so at the moment, Strigar advancing. Boklov, his statistics top left, just underneath his name in terms of distance. Didn't look terribly solid on the in run there, bumping around a little bit. And that is not as long as he needs. It's longer than 118 though. And so the second round should be discarded in his case. 122, but only by 4 meters. Third at the moment for the Swede. Masahiko Harada for Japan. Well, he got a patch of bad wind in the first round, so forgive him for that. Harada, fourth on the big hill in the Olympic Games, just missed the bronze medal. Rotten luck. A little bit more like it now. This is a better third round jump, and that will certainly count. In good form generally since the Winter Olympics at Courchevel. So we'll move him up a touch, not in towards the leaders. Remember, the first 15 will score World Cup points, but it's those jumping points, the 139.5 points that he's got at the moment today, that will be added with his points tomorrow to decide the World Flying Championship. Vouliamou. Member of the Le Brassou Ski Club. Again, look at how hard that ski tip came up and really whacked him on the nose almost. Left it very late. And there, the frustration of not achieving what he set out to do. Style heavily marked down, and that was inevitable. 118 meters. Timing wrong off the end of the in-run. A little chance to improve, though, on the second round effort, which he can discard. Now, Espen Bredesen. 133, 147, so getting better all the time. That's a fair series by Espen. Again, ski flying, the best he's ever done. 12th last season at Kulm, Bad Mittendorf in Austria. 140 meters, so the first round is discarded, and he keeps rounds 2 and 3. Andy Goldberger getting closer to 180 meters, which is the critical point. Now, can he go over that? Can he get to Kasai's 182? Can he break the hill record of 183? Anything's possible for this 20-year-old. He hasn't won a World Cup or a ski flying event, although he was third in the second of the 2 ski flying competitions at Oberstdorf. No, oh, and that's a hard fall. That is a very hard fall, and I hope he's going to be all right. Look at that. Maturity there to make sure the legs were okay. They're quickly across to him. That was a really hard tumble. Tips up very hard and late. Then he seems to stabilize it, but there's that patch of air that catches him. He hasn't got through it. The tip of that right ski really digs in, whips his leg back, really smashes his down onto the knee. Then from here, it's down on his back, trying to get his legs forward. And he's such a talent, this young man. And it's a really hard tumble. Gets his face rubbed into the snow for Mesha. There's the blue carpet on the left. He's going to be a bit bruised and battered. Well, let's hope he's going to be all right. We'll keep you in touch. Tony Inauer, his coach, will be quickly on to have a look at him and make sure that he's okay. Much of this precautionary, I hope. He certainly did whack very hard in with the knee into the ground there. And I'm not sure that he wouldn't have concussion as well as a result of that. He's moving his head, looking around. We saw him move his legs. That's a nice sign to see. Just a little wave to the crowd there. Gutsy, Andy Goldberger. Very good efforts on the Austrian 4 hills. 2nd at Innsbruck, 6th at Bischofshofen. 11th at Oslo last weekend on the Holmenkollen. You're a good ski jumper when you put in performances like that on the major hills on the World Cup circuit. And hopefully he's not too bad, and this is careful, sensible protection. He's certainly bruised and battered, but I hope that's the only problem for him at the moment. But as I say, we'll keep you in touch. If you're with us tomorrow, we'll bring you up to date, and hopefully we'll bring you up to date by announcing that he's on the start list for tomorrow's competition. But he might just ease back for that. He's got so many seasons ahead of him, he certainly doesn't need to rush back into competition. So inevitably there will be a forerunner to check the hill out before we start. So they'll be taken away to the nearby medical centre and checked out thoroughly. That you can be sure of. As it is, he's got 175 and 179 meters, so he's still in second place by virtue of the 2 jumps that he's already achieved here. So I think it would be only right that at least he gets 1 place on the podium here. But of course, it does open it up a little bit for 1 or 2 to come. Some of those, particularly Roberto Chacon, he had 162 and 177. He was in 3rd place after the first 2 rounds of jumping. Remember Christoph Dufner for Germany, 170 meters in the first round, but then 90. So there the distance judges on the side of the hill. Of course, having come off the in-run onto the landing area, the surface has to be checked and prepared. This is the order at the moment, but of course it's continually being revised, and what you see here is 458 points for Czechoslovakia's Sakala, ahead of Bredesen and then Schröger. But remember, the better men in a couple over 180 meters from Norioka Kasai, and obviously hoping that they're going to see 1 or 2 more. But to be perfectly honest, at the moment, conditions hardly conducive. So another Vorspringer, another 4-jumper to check the in-run, the landing and the out-run before the jury are happy for the competition to continue. And he, like all the ski jumpers, waiting for the signal that everything is ready. Good opportunity for these young Vorspringers to gain experience on the hill, jumping in front of family and friends. So here's the tall Par Inga Thalberg. František, yes, you had a tumble if you were with us in the 2nd round. But a nasty whack on his backside and possibly a cut, difficult to see. We'll bring you news of him, as we will of Andy Goldberger, as soon as we get it. And certainly tomorrow in the 2nd of the 2 ski flying competitions on this hill. But here's the man who's 1.92 meters tall. Well, he was on the 120-meter line the first couple of times. And a little shake of the head tells you that he's on it again. Well, almost a matching series of jumps there, but 75% of his style marks gone, currently in 7th place.
V závodě pokračuje závodník se startovým číslem 11. Štartoval L.
So Markus Galler for Switzerland. Better in 2nd round than he was in the 1st. The Swiss with a good young squad. Freiholz not jumping here, but Zund is. Twist the body parallel to the skis. 2-footed on landing. And Gala not really improving on the 2nd round jump. The 1st round matched. So it's down to style to split the 1st and the 3rd round. 119.5 points, and he's into 6th place at the moment. So now the leader of the competition, as he has been from the first round, 182, 182. He's a metre short of equaling the hill record. A little bit more, and he'll hold the hill record. Could this be the first victory for a Japanese ski jumper in a World Cup competition since 1985? And he really controlled that well. It's not as long, and he's going to keep the first 2 round results. Those are the ones that are going to count for him. Style not anywhere near the 319s that he got for the second jump, which was a superb effort. 146 meters. Temperature and the thermals changing here as we move into the afternoon.
Startovní číslo 13. Ivo Pertile, Itálie. V prvním kole 138 metrů, ve druhém kole 124 metry.
So Ivo Pertile for Italy. Yeah, just rather snatched at it. Didn't get the timing right off the in run. And Pertile, who had a fair opener, 138 and 125, so a fraction better than the second round, but no major improvement. So still Kasai in the lead from Goldberger. Just a little correction to the statistic. Akira Sato was the winner on the 90-meter hill at Sapporo in 1987. That's the last Japanese victory in the World Cup competition. This is Janusz. In two-footed on landing. "22 years of age in just a few days from now, and 123 meters, so no real improvement for him either." Now Roberto Ciccone in third position after the second round of jumping, having witnessed Andy Goldberger's unfortunate crash. He got 177 meters, so that is longer than Goldberger's first jump. But Goldberger then jumped 179, so that's his target. Nice position with the body, and that's a good distance jump. But is it enough to push him up into second place? The style mark should be fair. And Roberto getting 16.5, that's good. 160 meters, it's not perhaps as long as he needs. Now, is it going to keep him third? He's first at the moment because not everybody has jumped.
A další favorit, který by mohl ještě promluvit do konečného pořadí, startovní číslo 16.
So he's first as far as the round is concerned, but of course those points have to be computed as the competition unfolds with everybody else. I think he's still at the moment just behind Andy Goldberger. Germany, Ralf Gebstedt, ski flying winner in Planica 12 months ago. Gebstedt hasn't really produced his form so far. A few cheers of encouragement here. So It's the second and third that count.
132 meters, Gebstedt.
A v závodě bude pokračovat startovní číslo 17.
So Ratmar now 131, 141. A few doors have opened for him, but he needs a long jump now, particularly with Chacon. Chacon has got 160 and 177. So if Ratmar wants to really get up amongst the major points now, he's going to have to produce a really long jump. He's got 141 meters. That's the best that he can carry forward.
Werner Radmajer, Rakousko.
Building up the speed, 105, 106, 107 kilometers. Not really getting the conversion from power and speed on the in-run into vertical and, of course, forward flight. So Ratmar not having a happy day at Harakov. There are quite a few people here, quite a number of the jumpers who don't really like this particular hill. You do get hills that you favor more than others. This, for many of the jumpers, one that is not the most popular. One or two other names not jumping today, apart from Tony Nieminen and Martin Holvart, who are at the World Championships. Ernst Vettori, not a fan of ski flying. And Heinz Kutin, the tall man who does use the V-Star these days, but not quite confident enough to yet use it on this sort of ski flying hill. Thomas Goda. Good jump, very good jump for the third round. Just about the best that we've seen. Remember, Kasai with 146 meters, only bettered in this second round in terms of distance by Roberto Chacon. Fair style marks, 16.5, the odds 17.5 from the 5 judges. 154 meters, second in terms of distance. Now Fidgestol needs a long one now. He with years of experience. Just celebrated his 32nd birthday. Good speed. And again, a fair jump. He really does like it here at Harakov. In fact, his birthday, the 21st of March today. But so far, hasn't got the birthday cake he wants for himself. 137 meters. Talberg for Sweden. Consistent, but not the distance that he needs. He needs 180 meters. It really isn't an exaggeration to say that if he wants to really pull himself into contention. Because remember, today's result will be added to tomorrow's to decide the world champion for 1992. Nice style and not a bad landing. Although it was 2 foot, it was nicely timed. A little frustrated with himself because he hasn't got the distance he wants. 136 meters again. And the style, well, he's got marked down quite heavily there. Again, if you don't get the telemark, the judges are pretty severe. One knee bent, the other knee held straight. Gostiza for Gostiza, I should say, for Slovenia. 162, the second round effort. Nice body position. Couldn't hold it any longer. Hasn't managed to get another 160 meter jump in, 138. So for him, it's going to be jumps 1 and 2.
Und damit übernimmt jetzt Rang.
Martin Schunz will be next for Switzerland. Just getting ready, concentrating, waiting for his run. 1:64, the first round effort, as you can see. That set him up nicely, and just lost a little bit after the second round. He was in 5th place at that particular time. Comes in hard. And Schunz really not making any impression on Kasai or Chacon or indeed Goldberger. And that's the worst of the three, although it's respectable by many standards. .35 in all to jump, and 126, 125 meters, the two efforts for Tad Langlaw. The flag just dropping a little bit, the wind. And short of those two distances. Well, 127. My apologies to Tad. 1 meter better than his previous efforts. Hiro Kamiharako for Japan. Poor jump. In fact, my apologies once again. Hiro not taking this third round jump. He had an 87-meter jump. He was drawn 24, and so we moved straight on to Martin Schunz. Well, a split there for Martin Zupan, I should say. So apologies for the confusion of the last few moments there. Zupan of Slovenia, 128, 122, and now 126.
Startovní číslo 26.
Mit Nummer 26 aus Deutschland sehen wir jetzt Number 26 from Germany.
So now Christoph Dufner for Germany. Well, you can see the one he wants to throw away, 98 meters, that's the one to forget. A big jump here, could see him back on the podium. Well, he really launched for it, and he might just have squeezed back up there. Very close, because remember, Chacon has got 100 and a 77 and 162. And I don't think it's going to be enough. 141, it's going to give him decent points. But the problem, I'm afraid, was the second round. Martinsen, another 160-meter jumper in the first round. Another one of those would move him up the order. So Martinsen, winner in Falun, Swedish snow last year, hasn't managed to win a competition this year, but in Oberstdorf in the ski flying competitions he's been 3rd and 5th, and he's also been on the podium on the 90-meter hill at Predazzo and Ernst Kulsvik. Staying in the classic style, interesting to see whether he decides to switch during the coming summer. Five judges from Finland, Switzerland, Austria, Japan and Czechoslovakia. 139 meters. So another jumper to record his poorest performance in this third round. Conditions not easy today. Good shot there of the grooves, which helped to stabilize the skis on the in-run. This now,
Startovní číslo 28 ani Jimmy Hole
Suda.
ze Spojených států do třetího soutěžního kola nenastoupili. Takže budeme sledovat skok japonského reprezentanta.
One or two not taking a second jump, including Felder and Holland, who really have no chance of making any points or inroads. Suda not advancing either. The number one Japanese for today is certain to be Noriaka Kasai. He still leads. Goldberger and Chacon close up, but he's got a useful cushion, Kasai, and I really can't see anybody taking this lead away from him. It's really going to take an enormous jump to rewrite the top of the leaderboard at the moment. Just a few more left to jump. 35 set out today. This is Ivan Lunardi. 152 the first round. Good effort that. Now, can he put in another one of those? If he could, he might squeeze into the first five. 7th in the Olympic Games on the big hill, but of course on the ski flying hill, it's even bigger, even faster, the speed he's gathering now. It's not a bad jump, and it's nice to see the Italians finding form. It's been a while in coming this season. Now, is it better than that second round effort? 15s for Stahl, not far away. 140 meters, yes it is, by just a little bit.
Startovní číslo 32.
So for Czechoslovakia, one of the all-time favorites, Jiri Palmer. Well, Jiri consistent, 152, then 136. Capable of getting rid of that 136. All the crowd waiting, the last chance really for the home crowd to cheer on one of their men. Looking good. Well, it's not as long as he needed. I'm afraid the conditions really not favoured for long jumping. It's not favourable for long jumps at the moment now. And 132, not particularly happy with that.
Startovní číslo 33.
So 3 to jump. Johansson for Norway, Zund for Switzerland, and Zagriaski for the Commonwealth of Independent States. And then we will know for sure that Noriaka Kasai has won today's competition. Here's Magne Johansson, 27 years of age, so plenty of experience behind him. Nice control there. Nice telemark landing as well. But you can see that landing area pretty rough. Really getting bumped around on the landing. 133. So the second round better than the third. And this crowd have been very, very patient and very, very supportive. Well, I hope they're rewarded with a little better tomorrow. Some nicer weather, which is forecast, and some longer distances, which these men are capable of producing. Stefan Zund, born in Liechtenstein, represents Switzerland, the second best World Cup jumper of last season, a champion in the World Cup of this particular discipline. It's not been like that for the second half of this season for Stefan Zund. Only 22. He made progress very quickly in the last couple of seasons, but he's found it difficult to stay consistent this year. Today he's consistent, 135, 130, and 131, but to be honest, he needed those marks to have an extra 50 meters added to each of them. Awards are handed out. Little mascot, and here we are. confirmation, we've waited a while for it, that Norioka Kasai has become the first Japanese ski jumper to win a major competition in World Cup of ski flying for 5 years, 1987 the last time, and he also is in the lead for this year's Ski Flying World Championship. These are the positions further down the order. Unadi, Sakala, Bredesen, Fischerstol, and then Ratmar having a disappointing day. So did Steffensund, Suda, Pertile, Gela and Langlois. Those are the points at the end of the competition. So from the top of the hill, with the results from